In this lesson I will teach you how to say I like, right? There is a different way of structuring the phrase I like, she likes, we like in Spanish, okay? It's a bit more complex, but it's once you learn it, it's very simple, it's very easy, it just repeats itself. So let's take a look at this. Phrase of the day, me gusta, right? Which literally means I like, right? Then the predicate can go after me gusta, any predicate we want. For example, I like apples. Me gustan las manzanas, right? So, first of all, me gusta doesn't use the pronoun, the subject pronoun I, right? If we translate to Spanish, I like, we would say yo gusto, right? But that doesn't mean anything in Spanish. The structure is quite different. A mí me gusta would be I like. A ti te gusta would mean you like. A él le gusta or a ella le gusta, he likes or she likes. A nosotros nos gusta means we like. A vosotros os gusta would be you like, right? You plural in the way it is spoken in Spain. A ustedes les gusta means the same thing, you like, plural, but as it is spoken in Latin America. And a ellos les gusta means they like, okay? Then you can add whatever predicate you want. For example, they like apples. A ellos les gustan las manzanas, right? First of all, let me specify that if the object we are referring to when we say I like, if it is singular, then we say me gusta. And if it is plural, we have to add an N, me gustan, right? All verbs, all Spanish verbs in plural add an N at the end, okay? Same as the Spanish nouns add an S for the plural, the Spanish verbs, when in the plural, they add an N, like here, okay? Now look at this. Why have I written this, the first part of the sentence, between brackets? Because this actually can be omitted and is usually omitted when we speak and when we write, right? Why? Because, as I mentioned before, the subject pronoun, the subject is already implied in the verb, in the conjugation of the verb, right? So, what does this first part mean? Let me translate word by word. This first word means to. To me, myself like, right? So if I want to say a mí me gustan las manzanas, that would be I like apples. Literally or word by word, this will translate like this. To me, myself like apples, right? Or the apples. Yes? To him, himself likes apples, right? So it sounds complex, complicated, but that's the structure of how we use the verb to like in Spanish, okay? So it is just this, you need to memorize these 6 or 7 forms, right? For each one of the subject pronouns, for each one of the persons. Once you learn this, it's easy because it just repeats itself, okay? Always remember as well that Spanish verbs also turn singular or plural and when the verb is plural, it adds an N, right? That means when the verb is referring to a noun or an object that is plural, okay? The example I just gave you is I like apples, okay? Since apples is plural, then the verb like is referring to a plural object. In Spanish, it would add an N, right? At the end of the verb, okay? So, the full form of saying I like something in Spanish would be a mí me gusta, a ti te gusta, a él le gusta, a nosotros nos gusta, a vosotros os gusta, a ustedes les gusta, and a ellos les gusta. However, we usually omit all this first part that is between the brackets because it is redundant. It is correct to include it, it is correct to exclude it, right? To omit it. And for simplicity, it is usually omitted in written as well as in speech, right? So we would say me gusta, te gusta, le gusta, nos gusta, os gusta, les gusta, and les gusta. So how, if we omit this first part, how can we know what subject it is referred to? Because of this. Me refers to, like me in English, refers to the first person of the singular, to me, to yo, right? I. Te refers to tú, you, second person. Le can refer, le only refers to he or to her, to he or to she, okay? So, le gusta, I immediately know to what subject or what person it is referring to. Nos gusta, pay attention at the letter N. The letter N from nosotros or we, very easy to recognize which is the person. Os gusta, os is always you plural, right? The second person of the plural. And les gusta can either be ustedes, that is a you plural used in Latin America, or ellos, which means they, okay? So, we can perfectly omit this first part that is in between brackets and say, I like something, me gusta, te gusta, for example, they like oranges. Les gustan, remember, oranges is plural, les gustan las naranjas, okay? So, let's end our lesson here, and in our next class I would like to show you some sentences using this, and I hope that will help you to register that a bit better in your mind.